mugwumps. They're everywhere. They're speaking out. Board meetings, City Hall, Town Square, Courthouse, State House, even the White House. They must be stopped. They are disruptors.
Welcome, everyone, to Mugwump Media. Kevin, it's cooler down here. Welcome to the cooler days of October here at Disruptor Central.
It's good to be comfortable rather than sweating for a while.
Gosh, I know. We did an interview down here last week, and we were kind of mopping sweat. This is nice. It's much, much better over the last few days. We've been dragging out the jackets, too, so pretty cool. Even got a little bit of rain yesterday. Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was strange walking around with water on the ground, but...
Water flying from the sky.
I know.
Splashing on the ground.
I know. Mm-hmm. It's been pretty hot and very dry this summer. Haven't had a lot of rain since July. Kevin, you might end up having to blow the cobwebs off your big lawnmower.
I really hope not.
Kevin's not a fan of mowing.
No.
Well, hopefully you won't have to.
I hope not.
Well, folks, today... we have a follow-up show, and I had so much fun doing the last one, and it was well received. We had a lot of people that liked it. I had people that personally let us know how much they enjoyed it. But it was an episode about 3 weeks ago. It was entitled The Mystery of the Esther Prophecy, Erica Kirk. And, of course, that had a question mark at the end because, we don't know for sure that that's who Kim Clement was speaking about. Now, if you guys have never, if this is your first show, if you've not... tuned in to our channel before. We'll go over just a little bit of what it was, but I don't want to be redundant. I don't want to do a lot of repeating. I have some other things I wanted to tell you, kind of follow up to it. But Kim Clement, I actually found him, and again, I'm going to tell you that just like we told you the last time, we're really not people that follow prophets or prophetic sorts, although I do think that there are some people who speak things that God tells them. I do believe that. I've heard it. Amos 3:7 says, surely the soul of sovereign Lord does nothing without first revealing his plans to his servants, the prophets. And that was in the Old Testament, but I don't know that it ever actually changed. I don't think so. Deuteronomy 18:21-22 states that if a prophet speaks in the Lord's name and the message doesn't come true, then the Lord has not spoken and the prophet has spoken presumptuously.
Pretty cut and dry.
It is. The thing of it is, though, you don't always know, because back in the book of Isaiah, like I pointed out last time, King Cyrus showed up many, many, many decades after they talked about him, and they would have thought that was a false prophecy, too. But anyway, it also, John 4:1, 1 John 4:1, instructs believers to test the spirits to see if they're from God. You pray.
Yes.
You listen. You use your discernment, and you can usually tell if somebody's not really speaking. I guess I'll just say this. I don't listen to everybody that says, thus saith the Lord. But I found this guy whenever we were having a rough time in 2020. Everything was shut down. Everything had kind of gone to hell in a handbasket with COVID. Then we had the very questionable, anomalous election. And boy, it just seemed like everything was going wacky. And I can remember sitting and looking through my YouTube, just because I had to get my brain
and your
off
tears.
I know, amid my tears, just to get my brain off of it. And he mysteriously showed up in my YouTube. He did in everybody's. It was weird. But I started watching him. And of course, the first thing, like I told you on the last show, first thing that I heard him say was, Trump will be a trumpet. He's going to be a president with 2 terms, and he's going to set America back on course to restore it. And he said some other, I couldn't believe it. I told Kevin, I said, this can't be real. Because at that point, we definitely weren't following prophets. I also found some other things that he said. I just kept following him. He predicted 9/11 long before it happened. And literally, the FBI showed up at his house because they thought he might be a terrorist because he predicted it so accurately. I think it was his mom or his mother-in-law that let him in the house. She thought that the FBI was the ones who were there to fix the air conditioning. So crazy story, but things like that. One of the things that he prophesied was called the Esther prophecy, and I'm going to hit just the high points for those of you who have not watched this before. He didn't always do prophecy. Sometimes he was a great singer. Oh my gosh, he did praise and worship. He had his own studio in Camarillo, California, I believe. He was originally from South Africa, but him and his family, they moved here because he felt that God wanted him to come here and prophesy for America and help America through a difficult time. And this prophecy was from Nashville 2011. He started out with, and again, I'm just going to hit the high points. He started out with the statement, Lord, deliver us from betrayal in the White House. Now, who did we have in the White House in 2011, Kevin? Mr. Obama. But he wasn't talking about Obama. He was talking about a president to come. He said, I see a president that shall come, and God says that he will have absolutely no fear. He said it twice. He will be decisive and make decisions, and then in the middle of the restoration of America, between his two terms, God says, as the rest, God said they shall say, we never dreamed that this could happen. But God says, as this restoration is beginning, there shall be a woman that rises up, a woman that shall be strong in faith and virtuous and beautiful in eyes. Her eyes shall be so beautiful. Her eyes shall be round and big. I've crowned her, says the Lord, as I crowned Esther. And you can imagine my surprise when my daughter told me that she was actually Miss Arizona of 2012. And there is nobody any prettier than she is. Oh my gosh, Erica Kirk is beautiful. Very lovely. The people shall receive her, and she shall have the oil and the gladness for the pain and the mourning that has taken place. There has been a lot of pain and mourning over the last month, Kevin. Charlie Kirk's assassination, her husband's assassination, it hit everybody like a punch in the gut. It hit the younger generation like a punch in the gut. We've all been affected by it. There has been an awakening of sorts. But he says, she shall pour the oil on this nation, and God says healing shall begin and shall flow rapidly. For she shall take the oil of healing, and she shall pour it upon the scars of those left and those right, and of the new party that has come forth and has emerged. MAGA. This was not the first time he had mentioned MAGA. He foretold MAGA long before it came about. And it's not going to be a Democrat, not going to be a Republican, not the left or the right, but it's a party. There's another prophecy that he says they wanted to do the right thing. That's how he talked about this third party. Therefore, the healing that is necessary for this nation shall come at a time in the middle of the presidency. But the beginning of the serious restoration, which this second term really is, Trump knows stuff he didn't know before. He was being persecuted during the first time, so this is the true beginning of the restoration. In the middle of the presidency, there shall be, again, he repeats it, there shall be a woman that shall come, and God says there shall be oil that shall be poured upon the nation, and they shall suddenly feel the healing, and they say, it is well with our soul, for the soul of America has been corrupted. The soul of this nation has been corrupted with bitterness and anger. And God says, she shall say, no more bitterness, no more anger, no more division, and she'll pour the oil that shall come from the Spirit of the Lord himself. And one of the things that we agreed upon in the last show when we were talking about it, that memorial service was a turning point. Yes. It absolutely was. I have never seen so many people in the world of politics. There were people from the left and the right that came there. There was MAGA. There was everyone there. They filled not just that stadium, but other buildings to the brim. And there were people weeping as she stood up there and she spoke to the younger generation. She called out the girls to be young women of virtue and substance. She called out the young men to be men. And whenever she forgave the man who killed her husband, the oil of the Holy Spirit flowed, not just over those stadiums, but through the internet. We could all feel it. It flowed through the whole world because everybody was watching. Amazing. Now, I'm going to focus on something. I was amazed. This showed up in my inbox this week. 2 articles, just a few days apart. I was like, whoa. Okay. In the beginning, it says, I see a president that shall come. God said he shall have no fear. Let's see. And then in the middle of the restoration of America, rapidly, because of a source of energy that shall come quickly, because of medical breakthroughs, which those haven't happened yet. We're still watching. RFK's in charge. We'll see what happens. And because
he's on it.
He's on it. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of stuff going on.
He's as focused on what his mission is as our president is.
Oh, he sure is.
Yes.
You know, Trump put him in. He was MAGA. Yep. He was one of the crossovers.
Yep.
Him and Tulsi Gabbard and many others. The third one is because of agreements between nations, specifically China. So remember those 2 things, a source of energy that shall come quickly, and then agreements between nations, specifically China. I've got 2 things. Like I said, the first thing showed up Monday. I about fell off my stool when I opened up my email. This was from the Epic Times. This was Monday, October 6th. After discovery of massive white gold deposit, Arkansas towns prepare for boom. Arkansas. Rural Lafayette County, with 1/3 its 1930s population, braces for impact as the epicenter of a rapidly intensifying global rush for lithium. Lithium-ion batteries, a source of energy. My interest was piqued. I immediately printed it out. Lafayette County, Arkansas, there are boom and bust ghost towns, and there are towns that dissipate over decades, slowly wilting away until a place is no longer a place. I can remember the first time a few years ago when Kevin and I went down Route 66, the old Route 66, crossing. It was depressing. The Dunkin' Donkeys, you know, all the oil wells, all the old businesses, ghost towns everywhere, all along the freeway. And of course, this was during the Obama years. It was a mess. Factories had left. Everything was gone. It was a mess. Oil industry was dead. 30s and 40s, there was a lot of oil discovered in that old shale layer of that old ocean that we talk about in our business. But there was oil there for a time. There was all kinds of little refineries that were there. Lots of oil companies that moved in and established themselves and then gradually had to move on because the oil ran out of that layer. And then everything just kind of went bust and ghost towns. So it says downtown Louisville, Arkansas. Downtown has been in decline since the 1940s, Lafayette County Judge Valerie Clark said, noting that the courthouse is the only place to get a cup of morning coffee without driving 5 miles east of Stamps. We're talking about a tiny town that has one stoplight, which is now unplugged and doesn't work, Kevin. It's not good. Judge Clark said that it's been bleeding out people for decades. As a matter of fact, the last of their businesses, they had logging for a while after all the businesses left, the timber industry, but the last ones to shut the door was the Allen White Furniture Company in 2005. And basically there was just nobody. There was nobody there. But a reversal of Lafayette County's century-long fade may be afoot, or better said, underfoot. There's a white gold rush in Arklatex, which is a high-stakes global race to extract battery-grade lithium from get this name, the Smackover Formation's arch across Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. And it's not just those 3. There's another state it crosses too, and I'm not sure which one it is. It didn't say.
Where in the world did that name come from?
Smackover Arch. I know. Well, it's part of that old ocean layer, which was where they found the oil in that area. The epicenter of this contest is in Lafayette County, with ground zero running through the deserted streets of downtown Louisville. The Judge Clark, says, we're a little flower, we're about to bloom. Now, what is lithium? Lithium powers high-tech electronics, a critical mineral. You've heard about these, what do they call them? Precious minerals, what do they call them? rare earth minerals. That's what they call them.
Yep.
It is extraordinarily valuable, and it's going to become even more valuable. I'll read. It's a critical mineral in manufacturing lightweight lithium-ion rechargeable batteries for iPhones, computers, electric vehicles, solar panels, and utility-scale electricity storage. It does it all. It's like the wonder mineral. Lithium is produced through hard rock mining or brine extraction, Smackover Formation brines, which basically was from concentrated salt water from that old ocean, a sea that was trapped for many, many, many thousands of years below a limestone band that stretches from Florida's panhandle into East Texas, have all the right ingredients and the right history. Remember the history. A century ago, some of the world's most productive oil fields tapped Smackover's Arklatex span. The pump jacks, the Duncan donkeys, now mostly rusting relics, still dot fields framed by yellow pine and bayou bottom hickories. Small refineries. That was what built all of those little towns along that route. Refineries separated petroleum from Smackover brine, discarding waste stream lithium, iodine, and magnesium while retaining bromine, extracting the halogen liquid for application, several different applications, medicines, fire retardants, pesticides, photography. They still use that stuff. But here's what's crazy. They knew this stuff was here years ago, 30s and 40s. They were letting it spill out onto the ground. They thought it wasn't worth anything because in the 1940s, nobody had any idea about what lithium was worth, right? It wasn't time, Kevin. It's time now. But they did know about bromide, so they actually, or bromine, they actually did still use that. Now, Arkansas is the world's largest source of bromine. So it made sense that geologists were testing wells for lithium in Lafayette County because they knew that all these rare earth minerals were there. They knew they were there because of the oil industry. Yet, the testing for lithium was done in secret. It was done in stealth, says Judge Danny Orman. I later learned they'd been scouting the area since 2017, but no one knew they were there. It wasn't time, Kevin. Domestic manufacturers import nearly 30% of what they need, mostly from China. Mostly from China, which exports up to 90% of materials required for lithium-ion batteries worldwide. Kevin, they've got a monopoly. They've got the market cornered.
Well, maybe not.
Well,
I'm liking the sound of this.
I know. This is according to the United States Energy Information Administration. The global lithium market, listen to this, is going to increase 6 times between 2020 and 2030, with demand expected to mushroom 6 more times between 2030 and 2040, and then 8-fold by 2040, the International Energy Agency projects. This stuff is going to explode our economy. This Judge Orman says he remembers the day in 2019 when the lithium boom officially began. Apparently, there was a little news blip on Fox News. I don't remember it. They came out and said that it had been discovered, but now they're plastering it everywhere. And the oil companies, the electric companies, these mineral companies, these companies that are drilling and harvesting this stuff they're already involved. They're going to be bringing that stuff out of the ground within the next 1.5 to 2 years. Did you know that, Kevin?
I didn't know that.
They've been working on it for a while. It's time now. He was watching Fox News one morning, and they announced the largest lithium deposit in the country in Lafayette County, Orman said. I thought, what are they talking about? I would probably say that too. Any doubt, though, was dispelled in October 2024 when the U.S. Geological Survey determined, oh my gosh, there's up to 19 million tons of lithium under 4 southern Arkansas counties alone.
That's a truckload or two.
Fermenting as dissolved elements within Smackover brines.
I like Smackover.
Catherine Neeram, hydrologist, U.S. Geological Survey. She's got a lot of lot of things behind her name.
A lot of letters.
She's important.
Okay.
She said, we estimate there's enough dissolved lithium present in that region to replace U.S. imports of lithium and more. Now, folks, what that tells me is we can say bye-bye to China's imports. And I bet, Kevin, that there's going to be some of our friends that are going to want to buy from us rather than that murdering, organ harvesting, people disappearing country of China.
I think that might be true.
Now, before anybody gets mad and says, oh, she's so mean, she hates China. God bless their people. Man, I hope they can rise up at some point, but their government is evil, like many governments are, as we all know. So very cool. Judge Clark, of course, the lady, she says that she's absolutely knocked over by it. She said that they're having a hard time figuring out what they're going to do because thousands of people are going to show up and converge on their town, Kevin. The big companies, the oil companies, the companies that do all the drilling and searching and harvesting. And there's some big names here. I'll read a couple of them, but they are already getting the mineral rights for all this acreage in these states. Already.
Sounds like the Wild West.
Oh, man. And not only
the gold
that.
rush of lithium rush.
Jobs. Jobs.
Oh, my goodness.
That's one of the things that this judge said. She said that they were so excited that Arkansas, what'd she say? This is an opportunity to help people stay here, raise families here, to help save this part of small town America. That's what Trump's trying to do. So this is absolutely wonderful. In early 2023, Exxon showed up. Exxon Lithium, they purchased mineral rights to 120,000 acres in those two counties alone. They're going to begin production in 2027. Big names to drop. Chevron, they're there. They announced acquisition of 125,000 acres for lithium development in Texas and southwest Arkansas. Oh gosh, who else? Tetra Technology, they're the ones that have this big outfit right there in Lafayette and Columbia counties. They now hold 40,000 undeveloped brine acres in those two counties. And in addition to lithium, the other minerals that were spilling out on the ground in the 40s because they had no idea what they had. In addition to lithium, Tetra Technologies will also extract other critical minerals such as iodine, magnesium, and manganese. Nothing will go to waste.
No.
New Jersey-based, oh, this is cool. Oh my gosh. New Jersey-based Ecost Energy in 2021 agreed to purchase Tetra Technologies zinc bromine solution for its Zenith Aqueous zinc battery. This is a specific type of battery, ideal for delivering mobile power to remote areas without electricity. It says the really cool thing about these batteries is, say we have some massive natural disaster and have no power infrastructure. Guess what, Kevin? We don't need Elon Musk to come and bring us a satellite. They can simply put these on an 18-wheel flatbed and power up whatever needs to be powered up.
Instead of a gas truck, what would you call it? I don't know.
Isn't this amazing?
It is. Well, it kind of reminds me of Jed Clampett. Oh, my goodness. I wonder how many people were living in poverty, wondering what in the world they were going to do for food the next day, and doggone if they didn't shoot the ground and come up with some...
You're absolutely right. That's funny.
Yeah, something to pay their bills on.
That's right.
Maybe
Tetra
they'll be millionaires.
I know. This article says Tetra won't just extract lithium. The brine is so rich, so full of so many different minerals, she said, including iodine, magnesium, manganese, also critical minerals. So all the stuff we're having to buy from China, we're not going to have to buy there anymore. And she said she wants to make sure kids grow up in Arkansas. Lots of jobs are anticipated. Reynolds Brine. Oh, this is cool. People may wonder, well, is it going to run out like the oil did? You know, because the oil ran out after a few years, and then they were just basically just cast off ghost towns again. Not so much. Their confidence was boosted by a September 3rd positive feasibility study that determines that the Reynolds Brine unit component, which is the one that's centered right there in those two counties, this is just in Louisville and the other town. will produce 45,000 metric tons of battery-quality lithium annually for at least 20 years, maybe 40. And that's just there in those two counties. The biggest worry that they have, I love this is the end of the article, is they said, what are we going to do? There's not enough infrastructure. They're about to see a bunch of people show up, plus jobs for their people and lots more. There's not enough places to eat. Basically, all they have is Dollar Generals. No fast food restaurants. Not enough.
Chinese takeout store.
I know. Kick
Everything
them out
there's
too.
plastic
I know.
junk and different. Yeah.
No fast food restaurants, not enough housing, motels, she worries, adding the area's only motel, Jet Motor Lodge and Stamps, reopened in 2024, God bless them, after being vacant for a decade. This is incredible, folks. Now, I'm going to say this. Remember, what did the prophecy say? It said rapidly because of a source of energy that shall come quickly. Right there in the middle of the restoration of America, right there at the beginning of the second term. And boy, isn't it? And right about the same time that a month after the prophecy was fulfilled, I believe, with Erica Kirk and the death of Charlie. Now, the next one, and you're going to love this. This was just a few days later. That was on Monday. This was Friday. I couldn't believe it. This was yesterday. This speaks of the deal with China because of agreements between nations, specifically China. And this was what Kim talked about. Trump and this again was from Epoch Times, Trump to impose new 100% tariff on China on November 1st. Kevin, now what could China have done to have made him impose a 100% tariff?
Well, do you want me to start the list, or you want to go ahead and just give round
there was
numbers?
A reason.
Mm-hmm.
There was a reason. And I think it coincides with all this lithium white gold that they just found. In a new Truth Social post on Friday, Trump said that the United States will impose a tariff of 100% on China over and above any tariff that they are currently paying. Trump accused Beijing of adopting aggressive export controls on nearly all of its products, referring to the Chinese regime's recent rule changes aimed at restricting shipments of rare earth minerals.
Well, there you go.
Well, you mean they were trying to bully and have a monopoly? Because they ship out 90% of the world's rare earth minerals? I think that's going to change, Kevin.
Well, attitudes tend to change with, day to day.
Here's what Trump said. This is hilarious. It is impossible to believe that China would have taken such an action, but they have. And the rest is history, he wrote. The tariff announcement followed a lengthy...
Did he say that with a grin on his face?
He's so funny. What is it he says? I appreciate you to care for... What is it about care for this matter? The thing he says... thank you for your attention to this matter, is what he always says. The tariff announcement followed a lengthy post from Trump in which he accused the Chinese regime of taking a hostile and unprecedented step by sending letters to countries he was bullying, or they were bullying, not him, they were, to countries worldwide to announce new export controls on rare earth elements and other key materials. He vowed to respond with countermeasures. Of course he did. This is funny, too. I've always felt that they've been lying in wait, said Trump, and now, as usual, I have been proven right. Rare earth minerals, a group of 17 elements critical for products such as electric vehicles, all the stuff we talked about, electric vehicles, military jets, submarines, yada, 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 you name it, have become a key issue in the U.S.-China trade talks. And folks, this is what's aggravating. You'll hear me spout a lot about this. We put them in this position, starting with Nixon. He's the one that started dealing with these communists. There was no way, no wonder everybody moved their stuff out of the country because we pay higher wages here. He's got a bunch of slave labor.
Yep.
We could not compete with the wages, of course. That's how it started. And then, of course, NAFTA and CAFTA took the rest of them. And that was both sides, too, Republican and Democrat. One of Kim Clement's prophecies said that the reason that MAGA was raised up was because God was not pleased with either party. And boy, I bet that's true. Now, does that mean MAGA is perfect? No, absolutely not. But it's time for a shakeup. It's time.
And I don't know that Trump was right about everything, but boy, I'll tell you what, I'm getting closer to buying me a hat.
He absolutely cracks me up, I tell you. And this is so neat because it dovetails. It falls right in line with everything that's happening. Bang, 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 just over the last few weeks. Decades of government subsidies and policy support have made China, just what we were talking about, a dominant supplier of rare earth minerals, with its controlling 61% of global extraction and 92% of refining production, according to the International Energy Agency. I'm just going to speak this over it. That's going to end. I said it whenever we read the prophecy before. I think China's coming down. I think God has put up with their mess about as long as he wants to. And I think it's time for some other countries, namely ours, to step forward and be blessed with these new findings. Trump said China was holding the world captive by building a monopoly position over key materials. He called Beijing's actions sinister and hostile.
Well, it's starting to sound, I'm telling you, I'm hearing an old Western here because the old timber companies and...
I know. I
love it. Oh, my goodness,
it.
They'd go in and buy everything and, monopolies.
I love it. I love it.
It's a terrible game.
Here's how Trump wrapped it up. I will be forced, as President of the United States of America, to financially counter their move, Trump said. I never thought it would come to this, but perhaps... as with all things, the time has come. That's kind of prophetic, really.
Yep.
They found this stuff in 2017. All of this has come to a head with the monopoly, with the tariffs, and with the activation of this new store of white gold covering 4 states. This is amazing. This is what Trump said, and this is true, though, and we need to all remember this. Trump said, ultimately, though potentially painful, it will be a very good thing in the end for the USA, and I believe so, too. We just got to get past the pain. And this is Beijing. On October 9th, Beijing also announced the addition of specific rare earth technologies and equipment to its export control list. Starting November 8th, exports of certain lithium-ion batteries and many other things will require Chinese government approval. Now, most news sources are not talking about this, but Glenn Beck did the other morning. And, of course, you guys know if you listen to him, Glenn Beck tends to be a bit of a Debbie Downer, right? But I like him. He tends to get a little emotional, Kevin, kind of like I do, but I like him. Now, I know what Glenn's afraid of. It's the amount of time that's estimated to bring the harvesting of lithium and the other rare earth minerals up to full capacity. Now, he came up, Jason, his guy that does his research, apparently they came up with a source that says 10 years. I didn't see that, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So they're saying 10 years for full capacity. Although we know that Exxon is estimating the drilling to begin in both of those counties, the high-density counties, Lafayette and Columbia counties, in 2027. So, I mean, I get that. I absolutely do. It's been estimated that the global lithium market will increase 8-fold by 2040. What Glenn said was he's afraid that we're already behind and it's just going to be too hard to catch up. He's afraid it's going to be very painful. But again, what did Trump say at the end of this article? He said, ultimately, though potentially painful, it will be a very good thing in the end for the USA. Everything that he's doing, the tariffs controlling what China's doing, everything. Thank God we have Trump. And here's the thing, just like, we have an open window to the storehouse of God, I think. Because, what did this lady, Catherine, with all the words after her name, the hydrologist from U.S. Geological Survey, she clearly said that just this one area, they estimate there's enough dissolved lithium present in that region to replace U.S. imports of lithium and more. So we're going to have enough. It's just the amount of time getting there and the pain getting there. But Kevin, here's the thing. I see all the miracles that have happened. I mean, in 2020, when I fell apart because Trump didn't get in, how many other people did too? Everybody thought, oh my gosh, we're not going to make it to 2024. Trump even said that. He said, I don't think we're going to make it to 2024 with Biden in or beyond. But look what happened. Look what a blessing that it was whenever Biden was allowed to keep that stolen election, because it was, let's just be honest. And look what happened. They arrested Trump. They tried to put him in prison. He went through all these court trials. They took so much of his money, his wealth, and his property. They busted into his house, which had never been done to a president. They tried to blow his head off on July 13th of 2024. And he's a machine. He just kept on going. And let me tell you, if he had gotten back in 2020, we would have never learned the things that we know now. And all the people that were persecuted, the people that worked for him, that they tried to put in jail, they ruined Rudy Giuliani. Basically, they took everything from him. But look now who is in charge of all these departments and what they are doing. They are bringing more exposure. We're learning more than we ever would. God opens the windows to heaven for us in many ways. Long ago, he planned that there would be a people here in the United States of America when he created this country, when he created this world, and he put this storehouse of treasure beneath the surface of the earth, knowing that we would need it in 2025. I'm going to trust the God that provides what we need and opens that storehouse of heaven like he's done so many times in the past. It may be painful, but we'll make it. Well, folks, as this episode draws to a close, I want to reiterate one more thing to you also, something I told you in the first video about the Esther prophecy. Like I said, I don't necessarily follow a lot of prophets. This guy's amazing, and a lot of his prophecies have come true over the last 10 to 15 years. But one of the things that you need to always remember is the prophetic is always a mystery. I can't even imagine, Kevin, the prophet Isaiah, they probably thought he was absolutely nuts, some of the things that he prophesied. I mean, he prophesied about Jesus' birth. He prophesied about the triumphal entry, the coming riding in on a donkey colt. He prophesied about even the dice. They were rolling the dice, gambling for his robes as he was about to be crucified. All of the things that they prophesied pointed to Jesus in an amazing way. But yet, he was murdered. And I've heard that he was murdered by being cut in half by a sword. They thought he was a false prophet. They hated him. But look what came true. It was amazing. And what it does, what these prophecies do, is they let us know that we're not alone, first of all, and that God knew from the very beginning of time exactly what was going to happen. And like, is it Amos? Yeah, it is. It says, surely the soul of sovereign Lord does nothing without first revealing his plans to his servant, the prophets. And it's for us. It's for us. I love it. So as this plays out, I'm going to watch. Now, is this exactly the meaning of this prophecy? This new source of energy that would come about rapidly in the middle of the presidency, the beginning of the true restoration and the agreements between nations, specifically China? I don't know. It sure looks like it. Just like Erica Kirk looks like the Esther figure that he spoke about in 2011. pretty neat. And I think we just need to follow the scripture that says, don't always believe everything you hear just because someone says it's a message from God. Test the Spirit to see if it really is. Pray and watch, just like Kevin and I do. We're all going to be watching as this amazing time with God's open storehouse continues to bless us and unfold. Well, folks, thanks for joining us and spending part of your weekend with us. This is fun. I'm loving this, Kevin. Come back and see us again next week. And folks, bring friends with you. And remember to like, share, and subscribe, and keep that good information going. And once again, we promise to always try to keep you informed, inspired, hopefully encouraged. Encouragement's important. And folks, always try to stay independent. God bless.